Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV with myself, Ashley James and John Donovan as our first home game after Saturday night's very enjoyable occasion, it has to be said, here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Coventry City, the visitors this evening, looking to pop Cardiff's bubble of momentum, but quite frankly, it's going to take some doing after Saturday night. We would usually just go straight in and preview the game. We got into the habit of doing this last season, John, let's be honest. We didn't really want to look backwards, but we could spend the next half an hour and longer just talking about Saturday night's game, and what an occasion it was.
Yeah, you've still got to talk quietly. I think I'm still hungover. Such was the celebrations. It was great, but it was deserved, and that was the key thing, Ash. It wasn't, perhaps when we went down to the Liberty Stadium or Swansea.com Stadium during COVID and Aidan Flint scored, that was great, but it was a little bit backs against the wall. It wasn't that on Saturday night. We were the better team. We managed the game. That was credit to the manager. That was credit to the players, the way we set up, the way we nullified Swansea. And that's what made it even better, I think. And it was just a perfect night. One goal to get the momentum going, and then a homecoming hero scoring a penalty to seal the deal. So not many more things could have gone right on Saturday night, Ash.
No, and as you said, in the moment, commentating up here, there's the stomach's churning. There are nerves, obviously, but watching the game back after the event with hindsight, Cardiff were in complete control from minute one, really, weren't they?
I couldn't agree more. We spoke a lot in commentary about Swansea playing a very flat midfield three that were very distant from their two forward players in Yates and Lowe, and it was just space for Siopis and Winkle particularly to operate in. You made the great point on commentary, as the weather got worse, Ramsey got better because he could play on that pitch and he knew he was the best player on the pitch. The introduction of Ollie Tanner, the back four, which was just solid. Well, we saw the stat today, Jamalu Collins, don't think he lost the tackle all night. It's almost like he was built for a derby. So yeah, we made Swansea, who have been our nemesis in recent years, and never like saying it, but the respect they deserve of being a very good footballing team in recent years, I would say we made them look decidedly ordinary.
Coventry City team this evening coming to the Cardiff City Stadium off the back of 4 straight draws. In fact, if you look back towards the end of last season, they've actually drawn 8 of their last 11 games. It's not quite happening for them at the moment, and we'll talk about them in detail a little bit more in this pre-match build-up. But is tonight for Cardiff City as much about focus as anything else?
I think so. My layman's viewpoint is coming to the game tonight, you don't want it to be after the Lord Mayor's show. Saturday was fantastic, but it's an entity in its own right. It's gone. Tonight you've still got 3 valuable points to play for. We can't rest on the laurels of Saturday evening, but speaking to players, staff before the game, they've been focused. They enjoyed Saturday night, but since Sunday, they've been focused very much on this game. They understand that the championship in earnest kicks in now of Saturday, Tuesday, albeit Sunday, Tuesday, but you know what we mean. It's the gruel now between now and Christmas. And I think this Cardiff City team are ready for it. They recognise that. I think the squad depth is there. I think the League Cup has shown that there is squad depth in this side. There's players who are fighting for places. It's still a very strong bench this evening. I'm optimistic that Cardiff won't be caught out resting on their laurels from Saturday night.
2 changes then for Cardiff this evening, and one of them we kind of suspected. No Aaron Ramsey this evening after his exploits, not just for Cardiff in the week, but also Wales on international duty, and he was forced to leave the field a couple of minutes early as well on Saturday night, so we suspected he wouldn't be involved. That is the case. Slightly surprised maybe by the approach. We gave Swansea all sorts of criticism on commentary about playing a flat 3 in midfield, and that's exactly what Cardiff's gone with this evening. So Ryan Winkle, Siopis and Rolls playing as a 3. But if you look at the way Coventry set up in midfield, it makes an awful lot of sense. And then Ollie Tanner, this is a manager based on form for the under-23s. We've seen Cian Ashford involved in matchday squads off form in the under-23s. We've seen players being given opportunities off the back of cup games. Well, Ollie Tanner did the unthinkable on Saturday and has got to start off the back of it.
Yeah, I like that. It's a meritocracy. He gave the manager food for thought, as he has since pre-season, as a lot of players have. He gets a starting place. I think that's how football should work. maybe I'm a bit old school, but I do think that's good management. It is interesting to see the change to a flat three, but such is the energy from Psyopis. Perhaps it won't be a flat three. He can go box to box. I really liked Wintle playing in that 5-yard radius on Saturday. We have seen him notably against Birmingham in the League Cup playing a more advanced role. I think he did it in a friendly against Wickham that you and I covered, Ash. But I prefer him sitting in that radius of 5 yards in front of the back four. I think Rolls will look to join in. Psyopis can join in. But you're right, it's horses for courses. I think Tanner and Grant can get behind the wing-backs of Coventry tonight. We know how Coventry set up. Their wing-backs are key to their game. And I think Grant, and particularly Tanner, can exploit space, I should say, in behind this evening. So, again, I like a manager who's looked at the opponents and decided, yep, this is my team, this is my structure for this evening.
Well, you said you've spoken to players and managers. You spoke to Errol Bullitt ahead of kick-off this evening, and let's go and hear what the manager had to say to you a little earlier on.
Errol, it's a different game today, but final word on what happened here Saturday night, the joy of that and how you've managed to bring the players back down to earth to focus on this evening.
Yeah, Saturday night was a special night, special day for Cardiff City because we played a big derby, and the last 10 years everybody remembers, but we made it end to that 10 years last Saturday. But last Saturday is already past. So today we have to think about the today game against Coventry. It will be a difficult match. So we had only 2 days for prepare, or even 1 day to prepare ourselves for that. And we have to be focused again 100%, concentrated 100%. So it will make a sense the last week when we take points today.
So you've had a month and a half experience of the Championship, but it starts in earnest tonight with Saturday, Tuesday. The most consistent teams tend to do well. How confident are you that this group that you have can be consistent?
It's of course for players. It's hard work every 3 days to play games. But what we have a squad of 25-26. We will try use players. Maybe they didn't play so often for the start. That's why we need all the players. So some players will rest, and we will use the other players for that. I said to the players, everybody have to be ready for 100%.
And what the League Cup has shown is this squad has depth.
Yeah, Cup is different phase, like derbies. I can say Cup is Cup, so everybody plays with the different 11s. So everybody is more focusing for the Championship, like us too. So how I said, for the Cup, we will try to continue so far as we can.
Looking at the team sheet this evening, the notable absence is Aaron Ramsey, just to put Cardiff City fans' minds at rest. Precautionary, obviously played a game on Saturday. Resting him tonight?
Not only Saturday, he had also 2 games before Saturday with the national team. So how you know he made a change in the national team at the second half because he will stiffness on his muscle adductor. So, and also against Swansea, when we took him out, he was feeling a little bit. So, we have enough injured players, so I I cannot go this risk to lose again 1-2 players. So that's why we're resting.
I have to ask you about Ollie Tanner, a hero on Saturday. He's earned his place tonight. That's a sign that you as a manager will reward players. His mind is obviously focused. Saturday is behind him.
Yeah, with Ollie Tanner, it's a special moment for him also, because I was always supporting him from the start when I came here, because I see that he has something. So if you see last year, he didn't have games. There was sent him for loan, but I liked how he played also in the friendly games. He was also good in friendly games in the preseason. Against Ipswich, he starts, and he got his chance again last Saturday, and he made it perfect.
Just finally, Errol, asking you about the opposition tonight. Coventry, very organised team, a very good manager. They have lost in the summer their two most offensive threats in Gorkheers and Hamer. Where is the threat coming from this evening from Coventry?
We don't have to forget that last season this team played final to get promoted. So everybody knows, we know that we have a strong team against us today. How you said, very organized. They try to make pressure. So we have to be focused, concentrated from the first minute, expecting us a tough game today.
Errol, we're all enjoying the ride. Good luck tonight.
Cardiff manager Errol Bull there, talking ahead of this evening's game with Coventry, and still overjoyed with what he experienced for his first South Wales derby on Saturday. Let's turn our attention a little bit then to the visitors this evening. Like I said, in a sticky run of results at the moment, but also to go back on something you said in that first part there, they're a team who exactly know what you're coming up against with Coventry. They're a very system-orientated team. They've honed this three at the back, wing backs high up the pitch, a 10 in behind a pair of striker system for a number of years now, and that does help. When you end up selling a lot of players for a lot of money to just move players in and out.
You're absolutely right. There's continuity there under Mark Robbins, who's done an outstanding job. We all know the story of being in the lowest division, being slightly nomadic, not having that home ground to play at, being at Northampton, being at Birmingham. He's done a wonderful job, and he's got a way of playing, and he can move his pieces in and out of that way of playing. They're all very well drilled, and that's what gives them success. But as you allude to there, they've lost an awful lot of goal creation and goal scoring in Gorkheers and Hamer. Hamer is already showing at Sheffield United that he's not out of place in the Premier League. So it's a little bit of transition. Don't forget they started last season very slowly as well. I think they, with the problems with their pitch and what have you, come October time, they were still around the bottom three, bottom four.
They were still at the bottom of the table on the 16th of October.
Exactly that. So they're a team that's used to picking up steam, picking up headwinds as the season goes on. But they are having to do it a little bit by committee at the moment. Ellis Sims has come in, had a good loan spell at Sunderland, went back to Everton. It was a difficult time at Everton, trying to lead the line in what was quite a poor side. He's got his move now. I think he's going to have to play his way into regular football. They've spent money elsewhere, but I think they are learning how to play without Gorkheers and Hamer. When you lose two talisman, it's always going to be difficult. The fact they're not losing games, the fact they're still picking up points, I think it's a credit to Coventry and Mark Robbins, and I expect them to come strong, but they're certainly not at the moment the same potent and creative force that they were at the back end of last season.
You said that they've taken that a committee approach to recruitment almost as well. You know you're not going to replace the goals and the influence of Victor Gyökeres, who was, quite frankly, the best number 9 in this division over the last 2 years. So they haven't tried to do that. They've gone and got 2 number 9s instead, asked for the depth, and slightly surprised then that it's actually Haji Wright, bought from Turkish football, that settled the quicker, not Ellis Sims, you said, who was brilliant to start last season on loan at Sunderland.
I really don't think that spell going back to Everton helped Ellis Sims, and I know Sean Dyche got them out of trouble, but he was pretty much just chasing balls that were being played into the channels. He didn't get goal-scoring opportunities. He didn't get time on the ball. I think that's affected him. I think he'll come good. I think he's a very good striker, particularly at this level. But as you say, Wright is the one who has settled the quickest and has given them something of a focal point. Obviously, they're missing O'Hare, who's been out since Boxing Day. He's a player we both like, and they need to get him back sooner rather than later. But they're just motoring along at the moment. They're picking up points. I suspect when they get players in, I suspect they'll spend again in January. I was saying to you off camera, what surprised me, 14 players in, 11 out. They haven't taken up their full 25-man squad allocation. They're at 23 at the moment. I expect them to be there or thereabouts. The playoffs come January, and then I imagine they'll reinvest that money.
Talk about reinvesting money. They spent £30 million this year, which is, you think of the troubles that this club have had in recent years, is a remarkable comeback story and really shows how a football club can be built. And yet, in their journey, even up back through the divisions, they've always retained this strong core of homegrown players. And in Josh Eccles in the middle of the park, they've got a player where they haven't really had to go and spend the money to replace Gustavo Hammer, because he was ready-made to make that step up.
He was, and that's something I remember the Coventry game last season, and you pointed that out.
He was a wing-back, didn't he?
I did, and you said he's ready to be that go-to guy, and I think he is. I think he's got a little bit of everything. He's a creative player, he can also put in a tackle, he's got a good motor, so Coventry done exceptionally well, not having a home, having that instability. You know, they're a big club, they're a Premier League founding club, FA Cup winners in the late 80s. They're a good-sized club that's gone through some traumatic times. They've got a good owner now. They've got a good manager. They are going through transition at the start of this season. But again, I expect them to be there or thereabouts.
Reading between the lines the way you've spoken ahead of this game, on camera and off, clearly tell it's in the wide areas where you think this game will be won and lost for Cardiff. Two really good attacking fullbacks have been really impressed with Milan van Ewijk on the right wing back for Coventry so far. But the higher they push, the more space those guys leave in behind, and that's an awful lot of space for the two wide centre halves to try and close down an Ollie Tanner and a Carlin Grant.
And it's when those wide centre halves then have to fill that space, you're opening up space in the middle of the park for runners, for Ugbo, for Siopis, for Rules, for Grant maybe coming from the other side, or Tanner coming from the other side when the ball is on either flank. So I think that's where the game is going to be won and lost. Can Tanner and Grant be utilised in behind in that space? I expect to see a lot of switch balls from Cardiff City, making the pitch big. But again, Coventry, I assume every team in the country, Ash, says this about Coventry when they go up against them and their wing-back style. But Coventry do it very well. So the midfield holding two for Coventry will look to provide support to the three centre-halves. But yeah, I think this game tonight will be won and lost in the wide areas.
Yeah, it's a Coventry City team who, you look at that 3-3 draw with Watford a few weeks ago, an absolute outlier. Outside of that game, they've conceded more than once, just twice in 15 championship games. Outside of that, they play off a structure, and they are a very structured team, aren't they?
They are, and if they can keep Matt Gooden fit, they've got a difference maker there. I watched him the opening game of the season against Leicester. I think they could have beaten Leicester. They couldn't convert their chances. He was still a little rusty, but he's gone on to score 3 goals since. So if he can stay fit, and injuries have been his, no pun intended, Achilles heel, if he can stay fit, he could be the guy that replaces that talismanic figure of Victor Gorkaers. But they've got to keep him fit.
Leads a scoring charter at the moment and is on course for his best scoring return in Championship football. The man largely tasked with keeping him quiet this evening and maybe leading Cardiff to all 3 points will be Dimitris Goutas. We had a chance post-match on Saturday to catch up with his international teammate Manlis Siopis. This evening it was an opportunity for my colleague Conor Pearce to catch up with Dimitris Goutas. So before we throw over to live commentary of this evening's game, this is our interview with Dimitris.
Not a lot of time to rest and recover between the 2 games. How are you feeling ahead of tonight's clash?
Yeah, the feeling is unbelievable. We did an amazing win against Swansea. For us, for the fans, for the staff, for the team, everybody was very happy. But now we have to focus on our next game, and we have to continue in the good way with the victory.
We saw all the pictures, all the videos from the dressing room after that win on Saturday. Confidence is high now, and you want to replicate that win, do the same again tonight against Coventry.
Yes, of course. We have to continue. We have to forget the game against Swansea. Okay, we won. Psychology is very important for us, but we have to continue. We have to focus more, and we have to show more in the pitch because we have a lot of quality in the team, and we have to improve more.
Lots of games coming up in the next month. How are you feeling physically, and how are you looking forward to Championship football playing Tuesday, Saturday every week?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but we have to concentrate. We have to work a lot because we have our targets, and we have to be ready for every game and to give our best for the team.
Coventry City were in the playoff final last season. What are you expecting from them tonight?
Yeah, they are a good team, but we have to focus in our game, in our style. We have to see every game different, and we have to continue like we finished against Swansea, with high intensity, with good football play, with good style, and we will achieve a lot of things.
And the atmosphere here on Saturday was brilliant, with all those Cardiff City fans celebrating that win. You want to see the same again tonight, don't you, and win in front of these supporters one more time?
Yeah, of course, our fans was amazing. They helped us a lot, they pushed the team. Even when we had the bad times, they were with us, and we have to show our best for them and for us also.
Good evening, welcome back to Cardiff City Stadium. Coventry City, the visitors this evening, and Cardiff City with that quite considerable gorilla-sized monkey finally off their back after the exploits of Saturday night. Now it's all about upward mobility and trying to climb this championship table. And it begins this evening here at home with Coventry City as the two captains lead their teams out this evening. For Cardiff City, Joe Rolls, and for Coventry City, Liam Kelly, who shouldn't be in the starting 11. So that's an interesting talking point to throw over to yourself, John Donovan.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, first of all, Ash, about getting that monkey off the back on Saturday, but that's gone. And Cardiff City do need that upward mobility now. We're looking up the league table, and whilst we'll always have Saturday, the ambitions of this club are higher than just winning the derby fixture. So they need to go again tonight. It's good to see Joe Rolls back in the starting lineup. He'll have that energy, and he'll demand of his players that they continue that good form from Saturday. He will not allow standards to drip, but they're up against standards to drop, I should say. But they're up against a very organised side, as we've said, Ash, in the pre-game show, led by Liam Kelly, a team under Mark Robbins that knows their system well, plays with aggressive wing-backs, two holding midfielders to protect, and they're able to stay the long course in the Championship. They pick up points, they stay around the mid-table positions, and they just wear teams down, and that's credit to Coventry City and their management. And Cardiff fans will have to be patient tonight. It's not quite the